Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Sabu. This is very interesting. I wasn't going to talk about it until Dark Side of the Ring episode this week because Sabu is to be featured on that episode since they will be talking about his uncle, the original Sheik. So I was going to wait until then. I was feeling emotional about the situation of his passing. I always feel emotional when wrestlers pass away. You guys know how much I love professional wrestling. No information has been out in terms of how or what happened in terms of him passing away. I don't think we're going to truly know that until autopsy has been performed. But unfortunately, as myself and maybe many others would probably think, it might have been something drug related. Now, we don't know that as of right now. Now, I don't like to come on my channel and do videos about rumors or whatever, but I have some interesting information that was said in an interview by Joey Janela. Joey Janela is a wrestler who is part of GCW. He was the last person to have a match with Sabu. This was over on the GCW show called Joey Janela's Spring Break 9, where he was having his retirement match. This match was announced like 3 months before it happened, so people knew it was going to happen, and this turned out to be maybe their biggest event that they did WrestleMania weekend. Now, it is days before the actual match, and they're getting confirmation that Sabu's okay. He is training, he's in the gym, everything's gonna be fine. He's gonna show up and have this match. Now, the day of is when GCW gets word from Sabu's team that he is not going to make it. So I'm going to read some parts of the interview. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. I'll post a link down for y'all if y'all want to see what was said. But the parts that are pertaining to Sabu and his ultimately him passing, I'm just going to read that and how that could be related to him passing away. So let me get my I don't have my granny glasses on, but I'm just going to read what some things that were said. Now, Joey Janela says he gets a phone call and he's being told that Sabu cannot walk. So he replies, "What do you mean Sabu can't walk?" They said, "Yeah, Sabu, something with his knee, they're locked up, he can't walk, and his feet are bleeding. He's not coming, Sabu's not coming." I said, "Sabu's fucked." So we talked to indie wrestler Matt Tremont, and Tremont is going to be the replacement for that match. And I listen to what Joey said. And I feel like this is going to be the most embarrassing moment of my career. There's 2,000 people here. This is one of the biggest spring breaks ever, the biggest crowd Mania weekend indie-wise, and I'm going to have to go out there and announce that Sabu once again no-showed his own retirement match. So that's his feelings in terms of Sabu not feeling well enough to be able to be in his own retirement match, that this was going to be embarrassing for him. Let me tell you what else he says. So then he goes on to say, "We are an hour into the show," and I said, "Just get Sabu here." So they gave him something called Kratom. I think I am pronouncing that correct. I'm not sure. You can buy that at a smoke shop or something. It's like a legal opiate or something. They said he is hopping on the bed. He's hopping off the bed, and we're going to get him to the show. So he shows up 2 hours into the show. Sabu was on a different fucking planet. Everyone in the backstage was like, what the fuck? Is this match going to happen? And my God, did it happen? That is what Joey Janela said in terms of their match. This is very, very interesting because I don't know if anybody actually seen this match. I personally will not recommend this match, but go ahead and watch it if you want. I'm not going to sit here and say that he was on drugs or anything during the match, because honestly, I didn't think that initially. What I thought was, who the fuck is allowing this to happen? Because he literally goes out there and tries to kill himself. Now, is that something that we typically don't see from Sabu, that obviously this is Sabu we're talking about, but this for him being 60 years old, doing a retirement match at this point against a much younger Joey Janela in this no rope barbed wire match. It just was not good at all. And honestly, it felt uncomfortable for me to watch. I did talk about it during my live stream after that show. Like, I cannot believe that they even allow something like that to happen. Match horrible in my opinion. However, for GCW and the team of Sabu, this was important for them to have this match as his retirement match. Now, Joey says also he was definitely out cold. He was done. They were telling me there was no way. The refs were communicating to me that there was no way he was continuing this match. It's absolutely insane because it's just like, okay, y'all let him out there knowing that he was not in any position to be in the ring, and y'all got him doing whatever it was to get him out there. And while he's out there, he's fucked up, and y'all know that, but we got to continue this anyway. Now, Sabu actually does end up continuing the match and ends up taking the win. And like I said, this is not really much to look at. If you want to go ahead and check it out, go ahead. It'll definitely hit different knowing what we know at this point. Here's the thing. When this article came out, everybody has been pointing fingers at GCW and saying, hey, y'all are responsible for his death. Now, I cannot say that they are directly responsible because honestly I don't know, because he ends up passing away, I think, what was that, like 3 weeks later, which was on Sunday. Here's the thing. Brett Lauderdale, who is the owner of GCW, has already came out saying, you know, Sabu's my friend. I don't know what all these rumors are going around talking about how we killed him or whatever. The situation is that Joey Janela, who works for you, went out there and said what happened and how y'all let this happen. This is the thing. We are at that time where promotions, bigger name promotions specifically, they may not, I mean, they have those policies where, you know, certain drugs can't be taken. And if you take them, then, you know, you'll get fired, whatever situation is, or you might have some strikes against you before you get fired. And these wellness policies or whatnot are there to keep people safe, because professional wrestling, as entertaining as it is, it fucking hurts. And you're putting yourself, your body, and even your mind on the line every time you get out there. So a lot of times people end up falling to taking drugs to self-medicate. And unfortunately, y'all keep giving a reason for Dark Side of the Ring to have more and more seasons. I do love that show. But y'all giving them a reason to have more and more episodes because of situation like this. Like drugs, taking drugs is something that can be preventable. You know, you can be able to, you know, not everyone has it mentally to stay away from these things. I totally understand that. But it's still, at the end of the day, is a choice. And then it becomes a disease after this addiction of taking whatever your drug of choice is. With that being said, everybody in that situation should take some type of accountability. His team, GCW, Joe Janela, whose ass got in the ring with him, should take some type of accountability, because you are literally looking at an addict and saying, hey, you're not well enough to do this. We already got paid for this. Everybody's sitting their asses out there to come see you. Come take this so we can go ahead and have this match and give the fans what they want. Joey Janela, who came on social media, who was telling everybody that, oh, you know, I'm not responsible for this. It was his team that gave it to him. You know, Sabu's a grown-ass man. He could do whatever he wants. But you guys are supposed to be professionals. A professional wrestling promotion, you are supposed to look at a situation and look at your talent, whoever you got booked that night, and say, oh, no, y'all not well. I get it. It's a retirement match. People were there to see Sabu. Maybe Sabu could have came in the ring and cracked jokes or some shit like that. Whatever situation is, y'all could have rescheduled it. Y'all let him go out there and do that. Y'all gave him whatever he gave him. Look, I don't know what this kratom thing is. I don't know what it is, but does it matter? No. I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter what the fuck they gave him. Because he's an addict. And that right there could have been the catalyst of what turned out to ultimately be his demise on Sunday, of him passing away. Let's say you gave him this drug because he was in so much pain that he could not walk. His feet were bleeding 2 hours before his match, his feet were bleeding, and y'all had him come into that ring anyway. Y'all gave him whatever y'all gave him. He does it, and he does this match. This is supposed to be something that they're saying like it's like some type of suppressant for like if you're in pain, you take this for pain, it's supposed to help or whatever situation is. Y'all gave him however amount y'all gave him. And then what happens after that night? He's going to want more. If he can't get his hands on that, he's going to get his hands on something else. And that's going to snowball into this effect of, I need more, I need more, I need more, boom, overdose and die. Now, I'm not saying that's how he passed away, but this is how this happens. We see this all the time with wrestlers, a lot, athletes, a lot, where they are putting their bodies out there. They are in pain, and so many of them, even 60 years old, like he could be living still to this day, next year, years later, and be alive if it had not been for, taking drugs or whatever situation is, however he passed away. That's still pretty young. 60 is pretty young. You could have lived a little bit longer than that. Unfortunately, it came down to this point. It should have not gone to this point that they had to do all that. I know some of you guys are probably seeing like Ric Flair's last match. I can't necessarily say he was on drugs or anything, but that match was horrible. That man was in poor health. Every motherfucking body over there knew that he was in poor health and let his ass get in the ring. And I can tell you twice during watching that horrific match that I thought Ric Flair was honestly dead on the mat. Twice. And I know a lot of people can say the same thing too. A lot of times when wrestlers, at least in recent times, wrestlers, when they're doing their last match, they tend to go the tag team route because they're like, hey, I'm not young and moving the way I used to. Let me get my best buddies up in here to help me with my last match, and I can go out like, with some type of dignity, like Sting or Sumi Sakai. Like these people, for their last matches, they hit up their buddies and said, let's go out there and do this one more time. And here is Sabu, who went out there to have a full-blown hardcore match with Joey Janela on GCW of all places, which is crazy too, because now people are like, oh, GCW, ain't y'all over there part of the WWE IG program? Now this right here can be an issue moving forward, because now WWE is going to be like, oh, hold on. What you mean? Y'all did what? Y'all allowed him to go out there and do what? It's insane, because now that becomes a liability, because WWE, who has a wellness policy, now that they're doing this ID program, they probably, it's more of a loose type of program. Now they're going to be like, wait a minute, we're working with promotions that are allowing their wrestlers to go out there fucked up, and we can't have our names tied into something like that. So if anything happens between GCW and WWE ID parting ways or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, I don't give a fuck at that point. Promoters need to be fucking responsible. I understand you can't check everybody who comes to the door and be like, did you do drugs? And they're going to tell you yes or no. Sure, they won't tell you. However, y'all knew what happened. Y'all knew what happened, and y'all could have done something else. You mean to tell me that the fans were going to sit there and just be like, no, Sabu not feeling well, get his ass out here anyway and have him wrestle? Fans are not that fucking ruthless. There's a couple of y'all that may be ruthless, but nobody was going to say, no, he's not feeling well, that's no excuse, have him come out here and have a match anyway. Like, I understand there's something called pride. I understand they paid the man. I understand that Sabu has no-showed on them before. But you're at the point where you're hearing someone having pain and unable to fucking move and bleeding and things like that before their match, and y'all just like, all right, well, we gave him something, he's gonna do it, and y'all said, okay. That was okay for y'all. But now here is Brett Lauderdale, Joey Janela wiping their hands off the whole situation. You have to take accountability. Like I said, we don't know at this moment if that situation is what led to his death. I know some people might find it hard to believe that, okay, well, he passed away 3 weeks later, so it can't be related. Yes, it can. Y'all probably started this whole snowball effect that led to this man dying on Sunday. And y'all should honestly take some type of accountability. Y'all sitting here and just trying to be like, oh no, what's happening with my friend? Like, he's a grown ass man. He could do whatever he want. And I'm just like, it seemed like it was a whole bunch of y'all that got together to make sure this match happened regardless of how Sabu felt. And even if Sabu said, yeah, I am feeling this way, but I'm going to do it, the promoter, the card is always subject to motherfucking change, and nobody said a damn thing. Like I said, I don't care if Sabu came out there to tell jokes or his life story or just have people staring at him for fucking 15 minutes while he did nothing. That would have been better than how y'all had that man go out there and made his last match what it was. And now look at what we have to remember this man by. That clusterfuck of a piece of shit match that y'all put him in. And y'all had to make sure y'all had to give him something so that he can do it. So everybody can get a little check and everybody can be a little happy and go home and say, I saw Sabu tonight. Not fucking worth it at all. You guys, thanks so much for watching my video. I will do a review on Dark Side of the Ring tomorrow night, where Sabu will be on that episode talking about his uncle, the Sheik. And whenever the toxicology report or autopsy come out, you better believe it, I'm going to be the first one making sure if they do say anything drug related, that yes, I will be pointing fingers at GCW and his team and everyone else, because y'all know you have a addict in your hands and y'all just supplying this man with anything just so they can go out there and perform for people. I would have much rather him not gone out there and do anything and be in better health to have a match at another time. You know how many times matches are rescheduled for another time? What would have been the issue for them to just reschedule this shit for another time? But Joey Janela would have been embarrassed, like he said, if this didn't happen during WrestleMania weekend, one of the biggest crowds that they've ever had for his stupid ass spring break show. I cannot even believe he say that. And then later on, gonna go post today, oh, Sabu was a grown man. Kiss my motherfucking ass. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.